Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back with another episode review for Married to Medicine. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump right into this. So the episode begins with a montage of the ladies. Dr. Jackie is at her practice. Dr. Simone and Cecil are at the boys' house, or should I say their condo. Sweet Tea and Dr. G are at home, making references to adult time. And then we have Quad. So our first scene is Quad. And Quad is at home and she is waiting for her king to arrive while she prepares breakfast. She said, for him, I'm going to do this. So he lets her know, as he calls, Miss Quad, come outside. I said, okay, come outside, babe. And she's like, if you're outside, come on inside. You know I'm making breakfast. You got the key. You got the codes to the house. Come on in. So he's like, no, I need you to come out. I need your help with something. Now, Quad, you can't tell me that you didn't know that this man had you coming outside to get a gift or something, because he doesn't seem like the type of man that requires assistance from Quad. So I feel like she knew that she was getting something. She just didn't know what it was. So she steps outside and she says she sees double R's everywhere. And that is for her new Rolls Royce with a big bow on it. She says not only is he a phenomenal man, but God has given her a provider, and he does that in many ways. We find out that he owns a luxury car rental business, and he makes sure that he isn't the only person riding in style. I'm not mad at it. Quiet is saying that I'm not playing with you ladies this season. Yes, I kept him to myself for a year, but now that I know we're solid, not only will he be filming, but I'm going to show y'all how good this man is to me. And I say, go Quad. I just need to know if it's a rental or if it's like a gift. I think it's a gift. So Quad is in confessionals and she is grinning about her man as he joins her. I mean, we see the beautiful smile and it's nice to see her happy. It's nice to see her being loved on. It's nice to see her with a man that appreciates her for who she is. At least it seems that way at this point. And that to him, she's more than just a chef or interior designer or his errand girl. The very things that we saw with her and Dr. G. As I said before, I have not forgotten what Dr. G did in the past and what that dynamic looked like. So I'm going to call it out when I can. So he comes in the house and we find out that he has more than a car for her. She opens up a box that was pulled out of the trunk of the car, and in that is a Louis Vuitton luggage case, because he makes jokes and is like, look, we've been to Paris 3 times this year alone, and your suitcases, yeah, it needs some help. So I saw that and I was like, okay, is there a ticket in the suitcase too? Because y'all talk about the suitcase is heavy and he put rocks in it. Did the rocks include a ticket? I mean, I'm playing, but I'm saying if we're gonna do this, let's go all the way. So they talk about the party and how great it was and how there was no drama there. And Quad says she just loved that she could feel the love. We find out that although Quad might not have been ready to have babies with Dr. G, she is very much so ready to have them with King. I personally feel like it's a slap in the face to Dr. G, especially if she's doing this before she's married, because we know one of the things that he complained about a lot in their previous marriage was her not willing to be pregnant. She's like, why wouldn't I want to have babies? Look at him. Look at this chocolate right here. We're better than Hershey's. We're beautiful, which they are. Quad is like, this is a man that I'll create life with. And I said, okay, what is different about this guy? And she said, you know, with my previous relationship, it just wasn't this way, that he and I weren't good. So we see them talking some more. We find out that Quad has been looking into in vitro and that she went to a doctor's appointment. We get a clip of that where the doctor tells her that in about 2 weeks, her cervix will be ready for her to just try. She says that she wants to have twins, that at her age, she's trying to knock it out. that the previous situation was not ideal, but it is different now. And I personally think that it says a lot that you're willing to take this step with a man that you're not married to. I personally think that, you may want to hold off a little bit, but she may know more than, me. After all, I'm just now seeing this. There are people who've barely known each other and who have made it work for years, and others who've known each other for years before they got married and it didn't work. So hopefully this works out for her. Next thing we see Toya and their son Avery, and they're heading into Eugene's office that we find out that he's had for 9 months. He does procedures on something that looks similar to the bed. Before I go any further, I'm so proud of Eugene for creating this income. The way it sounds like he gave up the ER, but let me know down below, because he said that since the pandemic, the ER has been a very different situation and it's been a lot more stressful. So I'm not sure if he's doing both or if this is just his sole practice, but y'all let me know down below if you know. So at this current office, Eugene is offering weight management and hormone replacement for both men and women, and he has been open and he's been doing well. Eugene shows Avery his work area and then asks him, based on what you learn from your, I can't remember the class, sex ed, what is the female hormone? And he says, the vagina. And I laughed at the time and I was like, oh, shook, that ain't it. And he's like, no, the answer is estrogen. Women have estrogen and men have testosterone. And as you're getting older, you'll notice that your testosterone levels will increase because you're going to be going through puberty, and there's things that are associated with puberty, like you're going to notice things are growing and you're going to see hair in different areas. And Toya's like, and yeah, that's when you have wet dreams. She isn't wrong, but I don't want to hear about that. I'm very open with my son, and we've had several discussions about what was going to happen to his body, but I personally didn't need to talk about that aspect with him. Well, let me not say, because I talked about it with him, but it's different when you're doing this on TV where he can be embarrassed. We'll say that. So Avery's like, I already had a wet dream. And she's like, what? And he's like, and I have hair now. And Toya's like, what? So she wants to know all the details. Toya, no. No. I remember years ago, you guys, when I went to wake up my son when he was younger, used to sleep without clothes on. I'm guilty of doing the same thing. And I went to wake him up for school. And when I say that I was mortified, not because he was doing anything wrong, but because I saw my baby naked for the first time in a long time. And there were things there that I never saw before in him. So when I heard Toya talk about it, I was like, no, Toya, you do not want to know. You do not want to know. Trust me, mom to mom is not something that you're mentally prepared for. So Eugene lets her know that normally young men don't discuss these type of things with their mom. He then talks about the difference between their relationship with their kids versus the relationship that he has with his parents. He says, I'm married with children, and there's certain things that I still don't discuss with my parents. I can relate. It's the same way. He says that the clinic is doing well. Toya feels like she wants to help in some areas with their business, and she wants to advertise. She thinks that it will be helpful if they also do Botox as a service. There is money in Botox depending on your area, and I think that the Atlanta girls probably do a lot, but he's not ready to be pushed, and he doesn't want Toya to push him because right now he says he's doing everything, and that is a service that will require a lot of more time. He doesn't want to ever get to the point where he has to turn people away or he doesn't have appointments available. So he's like, adding someone else isn't my focus right now. Let me focus on building what I have slowly. She says, I can help you by answering the phones, and that's not the help he needs. He would need an additional provider, someone who can do those type of injections and services, and that's not Toya. Toya has a tendency to never be satisfied. It's like she always wants more, and I don't like that part of her because she very much so has someone who is solid, who has sacrificed for her. Eugene, out of all these men, to me, because I used to feel that way about Heavenly's husband, but Heavenly's husband, he's been talking foolishness lately. Like, I don't understand what he's doing this season or some of the other seasons. He's shown himself time here or there. But out of all the guys, to me, he has been the most solid when it's come to his family. And I feel like there's been a lot of times where he sacrificed even his sleep to make sure that his family could get out of debt with the taxes and have that home and things of that nature. And Toya just seems to always want more. On to Dr. Simone. So Dr. Simone and Cecil and their nasty sons, they go to their house. There is no way that you would be living in anything of mine for free and had that place looking like that. Their place to me looks like a place that is ready for some type of infestation. It looks like it smells with the overflowing trash and the things of that nature. So they enter the condo in painter suits. I wish I would clean up behind some grown men at all, let alone they don't pay bills. So Simone is mad that they're not there because they scheduled this cleaning day with them prior and neither one of the boys are there. They're there because they were going to show them how to clean. I don't understand why your children at their big age don't know how to clean. Tells me you all haven't been doing your job as parents. So she wants to surprise them by charging them for the services that they provide. So they write down a list of what they're going to do, but it makes sense because it doesn't make sense because how are you charging them when they don't give you any money in the first place? Their parents have spoiled them. These kids are entitled. And while Simone seems to be so vocal about Quad and various things about Quad, I feel like she needs to focus on her dirty young men because there's no reason why the house looked like that. And I think it would look even worse because they knew that their parents were going to be coming over. So how bad was it prior? So Simone claims that she's done at this point, that they need to grow up. And we get lots of flashbacks of the many, many times Simone complained about things and said she was going to do things when it came to the boys, and she didn't do it. So basically, she's all bark, no bite. Talk is cheap because you're sitting there at this house cleaning up behind them like they're infants. And you're calling Cecil a pushover, but he's not the only pushover. You are as well. So as they're cleaning, Simone brings up Quad's man. It's like, you know how you have a gender reveal at a party? Well, this kind of was like a gender reveal, except the gender was Quad's man. And she says that she is trying to figure out what's going on because Quad has done the same thing that she's been doing, which is that she did not share that she had a man. Simone says they didn't know, and it's been a whole year. This is the same girl, doctor, that tried to get Quad off of the show, that said that she wasn't attached to Quad, that complains about Quad not spending time with them and all these other things. Why would she open up to you about something that for her at the time was private because she was trying to figure it out herself? You, Simone, are not a safe place for that girl. None of y'all were because everybody turned against her. So I don't blame her for keeping it quiet. Cecil is over it. He's like, look, you didn't know before, but you know now. Why do we keep on walking forward to take steps backwards? I get why she may have been reluctant to bring someone. We've seen some of the things that's happened in the past, and they show flashbacks of people and their men getting questioned. In other words, stop complaining about things that don't matter and get your own business and move forward. He says maybe he'll be around long enough so that at some point we can meet him. We know he is going to be around because we have already seen clips of him going to the cash trip and stuff like that. On to the next scene. So Contessa is at her house opening up the door for Heavenly and trying to get her dog that doesn't know what go pee pee means. She says, go pee pee, go pee pee, go pee pee. And he doesn't go pee pee. It takes a while. So Phaedra and Sweetie are coming over for some food. I'm going to tell y'all like this conversation alone, Tisha and people in the comments who are riding for Tisha cannot get upset when Quad gathers her for trying to act like Quad was still overly concerned about Dr. G and what he had going on. I don't understand why she even feels the need to speak on that, but we'll get to it. Y'all tell me what you think. So they talk about Whitnick and how Sweetie went off on Heavenly. Contessa, who keeps allowing Heavenly to hug her, tells Phaedra that she wanted to go off on Heavenly too because she's still mad about all the different things that she said about her and her husband on YouTube. You have her number. Call her if you have such a big issue with her. She said things about Scott, yes, but we can't act like we didn't see this stuff. Like we didn't see Scott not being good to her. He treated her like crap. He was jealous of her at times. He had a problem with her wanting to pursue her profession. Like there's all these little things that he was doing that was underhanded. So you can't completely blame this on Heavenly when we all saw it. Does Heavenly need to watch some of the things that she says on YouTube? Yeah, especially because they're her friends. But y'all have already addressed it. So Sweetie arrives in her fashions that they are relating to the 70s because Phaedra tells her she looks like Willona from Good Times. Sweetie tells us that Heavenly, was it Sweetie or Contessa? They feel like Heavenly at times is verbally and emotionally abusive. And Sweetie is like, with this type of environment and going back and forth with these ladies and all this other stuff, it's not a good environment for me, especially trying to conceive. Then go. If you feel that way and if you want a child as badly as you do, then go. Be in a stress-free environment. Contessa and Phaedra said that Quad's party was fun, that they had a great time, even though Contessa says, Quad is so extra. Contessa, just because you're plain Jane doesn't mean you have to come at Quad's extraness. She's like, but you didn't just miss a good party, you missed meeting Quad's man. I don't understand why they needed to add that bit of information. Did production ask them to do this? Because why are you three ladies coming together to talk about this? It just doesn't seem natural to me that these three women are, and I'm not a fan. So Phaedra says, I'm happy for her. She seems very happy. But we got Sweetie in confessionals telling us that, woo, child. I'm so glad that Quad got a man. And I'm like, okay, you're in no position to talk about Quad having a man. You're acting like somebody wants your man. The only person that wants Dr. G, Sweetie, is you. You over here talking about some amen, acting like you praising God because you think that now that she has a man, she can move on when Quad has clearly moved on. She had everything that you currently have with him already, including that house. So why is it that you feel like she wants something that you have? Dr. G is not a flex. He's not. Does he look better now that he lost a little bit of weight? Can I talk? And has the gray beard? Yeah, he looks a lot better, but I still haven't forgot who he is and who we saw him to be. Y'all can forget if you want to, but I haven't. So she says, while we're talking about it, I hope her new man has money because that's all she seems to be worried about. Now, this is when Quad's going to get you together. And you've been listening too much to your husband, because if she really cared about money, then she would have wanted to stay in that house or she wouldn't have left. Quad may be materialistic in some ways, but I doubt that her motivation for this man is just money, because Quad herself has money. And while we're talking about that, you're the same girl who told us that now that you married to Dr. G, you got access to the money. So let's focus on you and the statements that you've made rather than worry about Quad. I just want her to shut up. I don't understand why they got all these Tishas on the show that always take it a step too far. It's like none of them can reel it all the way in. Like I can't root for any one of them all the way because they all go to the left. Anyways, Phaedra, what am I saying? Oh, we know that Phaedra invited Tisha. No, we know that Phaedra invited Quad to Tisha's party. And even though all that happened, Tisha does say that it did not make sense for her to go to that party. And I agree. I'm glad that she says it. But I think that she did want to go. But I think that it's also clear that production sometimes stays out of things, because production is the reason why Heavenly got to go to that wedding, but production didn't make them have Quad stay. Production didn't make Quad invite her to the party. So there's times where production does keep their hands out of it. So Phaedra said that there's a lot that they need to talk about. Contessa wants the ladies to take a trip to together so they can have a reset. So the ladies agree to go glamping. I personally had a ball when we went for my friend's 40th birthday. I want to do it again. It was great. I like camping, period, though. But the glamping was fun because we had the AC and stuff, and there were actual beds in the tent. And at my big age, it was nice to lay on a nice, comfortable queen-size bed. So Phaedra says that she doesn't want this to be a repeat of Napa, but you weren't worried about Napa and you didn't care about Quad during Napa. So why are you trying to act like you care now? You threw Quad to the wolves. Soon as you got on this show and you got comfortable, Quad didn't matter. So we see Dr. Heavenly and her son Zachary at her business. She is having him kind of shadow her. He's doing an internship at the job. It's a paid internship because he just graduated from college and he's going to dental school and he wants to follow in her footsteps. So she tells him, when you deal with the patient, make sure you introduce yourself as a future dentist. As Heavenly looks on, I love this. He was nervous. She had to remind him to make sure before he does anything to mask up and wear his eyewear and things of that, and his gloves and things of that nature. And we see him go out and come again like he's filming a scene to do it because he wanted to try again. And I said, I'm not mad at it. We love a sterile environment and we love generational things going on. This is a passing down that can happen, a merger that can happen. And it's nice to see. So he can't remember to call his mom Dr. Hines instead of mom. And she can't remember to stop calling him boo and baby. So you keep on correcting him for calling you mommy, but you still acting like he's your son when you're talking to him. She says that he is different than the rest of the kids, but he is doing a good job. Next, we see Dr. Jackie with Ryan, who is a patient from the WNBA. She is struggling with fibroids and she wants to conceive a child, but before she does so, Jackie wants to make sure that she removes all the fibroids so that she doesn't have any problems conceiving or any additional complications that will put risk to both her and the baby. Jackie tells her, like, when you get these, because they're doing in vitro, when you get these eggs, don't fertilize them all with one man because we may not like them. And she's like, what you trying to say? Like they're going to be ugly? And she goes, no, that's not what I'm saying. She says, oh, you're saying they're not going to be tall. She's like, yeah. Make sure this is what you want. So we then see all the various ladies getting ready for, they get an invite to the hoedown. Heavenly wonders if their plan is to tie her up and beat her. Heavenly reads the invite in front of Valora, and the comment about dusty trails comes up, and she says, well, it is giving some dusty hoes. It's dusty hoes that's giving it. And I said, Heavenly, this is yet another reason why they don't like you. You can't say stuff like that and then be upset when they get upset with you for saying it. So Toya thinks that everybody's going to get into it because everybody has an issue with everybody. Cecil asks Simone if he thinks that they'll be able to talk. And I said, you know your wife, you should know that if they do talk, it's going to be an issue because Simone wants everybody to kiss the ring. So she says that she knows that she needs to apologize to Quad for New York, but she hasn't had the time. And she doesn't know how to talk to her, that it could go good or it could go bad, especially because Quad wants an apology for Napa and she's not getting it. She feels like Quad and her will do well and then Quad will fall apart because of the comment section. Simone, in certain aspects, you're selfish and you're wrong. What happened in Napa was wrong. You already knew you didn't want that girl there, then you should have never had her come all that way. Period. She wants Quad, as I said, to kiss the ring, to grovel at her feet. Cecil jokes and tells her that apologies are for you, talking about Jackie, because that's something that Jackie had said to Tisha last season. So now we're at Phaedra's. She's going out of town for 5 days. Apollo is there to pick up the boys. They've been through a lot. We get a flashback of some of those things since 1995. He's not allowed in the house because she doesn't want that energy in her space. I don't blame her. I just hit the block button on my phone the other day for that very reason. Protect your peace. The subject of Toya running into Apollo at a restaurant and him being questioned by her comes up, and Toya's like, yeah, I asked him about his marital affairs because of what was in the paper. And I said, will Phaedra and him get back together? Phaedra thinks Toya is being messy, but Toya is being Toya. And Toya's like, look, I'm just trying to find something out about her because she is guarded and she hasn't shared anything with us this entire time. Which is true. All Phaedra gives on television at this point is fashion, a little bit of her kids, and jokes. And she'll stir the pot or carry a bone if you need her to. That is it. We don't really know much about Phaedra. We don't see Phaedra going to her job. Like, she did that whole little burial thing with Quad, but that wasn't like her job. That was just something for the show. So there's a lot that we don't get to see about Phaedra. Anyways, it's nice to see those two adults having a cordial conversation and getting along considering all that they've been through. So we see Tisha in this scene with her husband. Tisha's in the house and she's making smoothies and she's FaceTiming with her twin sister. Her twin sister is pregnant with a little girl, which has to be hard for the both of them. Hard for her sister because you're very excited about conceiving and having this baby, but you're also very aware of the fact that your twin wants one too and is struggling to do so. So both of them are probably not talking about certain things and being aware of each other's feelings. So she tells her sister she's happy, but she's waiting for her turn. Also says like what type of baby shower she wants to do when Dr. G comes home. They sit down and they talk about IVF and them trying, and she wants to know his timetable, like at what age do you want to cut this off? And he shocks her by saying that he feels like he's given it 2 years. She starts crying, and I'm guessing it's more so because of his age. She's like, that puts more pressure on me. It's too soon. He says, it's all comes down to how badly you want to have a child. Like, we could do adoption. Adoption is an option. Tisha says she wants one, but I think that she wants to have her own. It's too much pressure. I know people who have had fertility issues that had tried and had did certain procedures and started IVF and all those things that got pregnant before it got to that point. There's things that she can do, like what my friend did who conceived naturally. Like the day that she went to start getting stuff done for her shots, she found out she was pregnant. And this was after trying for 2 years. With that being said, there's things that you can do health-wise. Her and her husband changed up their eating habits and did some holistic things to try to prep her for, to be able to conceive. And then they got to the point where they stopped fussing about it so much. So it can happen. Don't put so much pressure on your body. She's young, but he's older. And that is one of the reasons why I think he's doing the timetable. So we see the ladies preparing for their trip to Orlando. We see Jackie talking to Phaedra, Tisha putting on outfits for Dr. G, Contessa trying on outfits on Layla, Toya talking about cutting up jeans with Eugene. Heavenly tells Simone that, Phaedra came over there being messy, talking about Contessa and saying that Contessa said y'all used to be close and now it's different. And she's like, Heavenly says, I thought we were okay. Everybody always wants an apology, and she's always having to apologize, but other people don't apologize too. I just don't understand how Heavenly thought they were okay, especially when you said earlier that the three of them are probably going to hog tie you once they got to this glamping thing. So there's unfinished business there with Contessa, and Simone basically tells her, like, I feel like the Tisha situation is making Contessa kind of stick up for her and kind of jump in, which she needs to stay out of it. Doesn't have anything to do with her. So Simone says we'll just see what happens. So we see them get on the plane. Toya and Quad are next to each other. They land in Orlando. The three ladies, Contessa, Tisha, and Phaedra, are with Dr. Simone in one vehicle. The others are in another. They say that they're hoping that this trip will be good. It's nice to see Toya and Quad getting along. Dr. Jackie leaves her car in prayer, and then we see clips of what is to come, and it looks like it's going to be a mess. And that's how it ends. If there's something that I left out in this one that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down in the comment section. I think next week is going to be good, and I'll see you all soon for my Real Housewives of Potomac review. I got to go watch it. Until next time.